Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Fitness Podcast, your source for all things fitness. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Laura Calleia on the line, and she's a founder over at Ma8trix 8-Week Wellness. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you, Adam?
Oh, man, I am excited to get into this program today. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, fitness enthusiasts, all of the above, all listen to this show, and they listen to their fitness show because they want some help. You know, they want to learn some more things about what's going on in the industry, but they also want some results. So I'm excited to get into your Ma8trix 8-Week Wellness program. But before we do that, Laura, let's go a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career in fitness?
It's a great question, and it goes back very long. Many years ago, when we were learning different subjects in school, what really interested me is we had this funny class, which you might remember, called home economics, and one of the things that we constantly talked about was health. And so it kind of came to me. I just thought it was so interesting, and health and nutrition sort of from that minute on, I was pretty much hooked. And when I learned that you could do fitness or fitness training as a career, that was my path. And I did from that minute on. I was a runner, I was in basketball, I was in volleyball, but I always sort of came back to nutrition and how, food could be medicine. So that was how it all began, Adam.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think it's a great transition. So let's just dive right into today's topic. I want to explore your 8-Week Wellness program. So tell us more about Ma8trix 8-Week Wellness.
Sure. The reason people always say like Ma8trix, there's an 8 in the middle, and why 8? Why 8 weeks? And really, I think for people to make long-lasting changes, it's not something that you can just do over 1 or 2 weeks. And then when you talk to people, it's saying like, hey, the next 3 months you want to do this. People think of what they have coming up, and an event or a wedding that they're going to, or on a vacation, and longer than 8 weeks seems pretty daunting. But the reason that we, sort of fell into the spot of 8 weeks is when you put it all together, it's really a lifestyle change. And, by the time you're halfway through this, you sort of have it kind of locked in, exactly what you're doing. And by the time, you get to that second round of 4 weeks, it becomes a full lifestyle change. So I'll tell you a little, basically what those 8 weeks, I have 8 pillars to those 8 weeks. And the most important thing is really the first step, and that's biomarker training biomarker testing. And people say all the time, what's a biomarker? And really when it comes to what we do, it's just a measure, any measure of your body, your system. So, your weight, your blood, your urine, your nutrient levels, all of that stuff, it kind of falls into biomarker testing. So what we do is we do a blood test, and we look for things like, where your hormone levels are at, or where your lipid panel, your vitamin D. And, the reason why we talk about vitamin D is people will say like, gosh, I'm so tired all the time, and don't realize that these little things, vitamin D, vitamin B12, the nutrients in your body really do have an effect on you're down to the minute, how you feel every day. So we start off with biomarker testing, and we just get your baseline levels. And then throughout the rest of that 8 weeks, we incorporate the following, basically 7 steps. So, we talk about sleep, rest, supplements, food, and then exercise, and then what I call mindful living. So that encompasses meditation, And then the whole entire program I call the Ma8trix mindset. So essentially, when we take all of those components, we see where you're at and where you want to be. And it's different for everyone. Some people simply want to feel better. Some people want to look better. Some people just know that they're not eating the right kind of nutrients. Other people have a very stressful job, or they hold on to a lot of stress. So how do you kind of move through that? And then sleep. Sleep is one of these sort of, we know we all need it, but how much do we really need? How much do I specifically need? And then the last thing is supplements. So I'm not big on, we've all heard that saying, like, let food be thy medicine. And I'm not big on adding different supplements, but, for most people, we're low on vitamin D, we're low on magnesium. You can't always get, your nutrients from your food, although I want that to be kind of the case. But, some people are vegetarian and they might not get the same, nutrients that they need from all of their food. So by, individualizing, we see what supplement somebody would need to add. And it all goes back to that step one, which is the biomarker testing. And then the exercise too. So some people they say, you know what, Laura, I don't need to exercise 5 days a week, but I want to incorporate some exercise. Or for me, my exercise is yoga. So we take a very individualized path and we plan out these 8 weeks so that by the time you're on that, 8 weeks and you're done, you're either going to say, you know what, I want to take this a step further. I want to do, add to my program, or wow, in 8 weeks, I've completely changed my lifestyle and I feel, like a completely different person. So that is all encompassing of my 8-week Ma8trix program.
Wow, and what I like about this is that you're really focusing on all of the different aspects that are going to make a difference. Because sometimes, it's not just going to the gym or exercising, like the biomarkers and all the other things that you're talking about, like customizing diet to their body type and to their eating preferences. Like all these things play a factor. And I feel like, time and time again, when somebody just, they may be focused on one side versus another. So it might be all fitness, or it might be all, or it might be all diet, or it might be, they look at different things and you're like, man, you really need that complete approach, which is what you provide. So I think that's really exciting. What kind of feedback have you heard, or have you gotten from the program overall? I'm just curious about maybe what some of your students have said.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's across the board. I've had people call me after 3 weeks. One person actually, all that I did was, took away certain, not took away, but suggested that hey, you know what, don't eat after this time of day and, limit your sugar. And all that we really did for this particular person was add 5 minutes of meditation in the mornings and 5 minutes in the evening. And, she's a very busy professional and doesn't really, she has children, doesn't take a lot of time for herself. And she called me after just really, it was not very much time at all, and said that the program had been life-changing for her. And because of working with her, then I started working with her brother, and then, another one of her friends. But it's really been a very word of mouth business. And, I don't even like to use the word business. For me, this is the way I live. And I want to share how I feel with how I want others to feel this way too, because, we all have these things we have to do, but, life can pull you in all these directions, and feeling good to me is, the most important thing. And so I've had that feedback. I've had people say, I've been trying to lose weight for 7 years and nothing worked until I came and saw you. Or I've had people say, gosh, I was tired all the time and I didn't know why. And I added vitamin B12 supplements and I feel, really energetic. Or, one gentleman was always really thin his whole life, and he said, that his friends called him Grover from Sesame Street, and he could never was going to gain weight. But I got him to, he looks great. He's very muscular now, and he's still lean. His body type is always going to be lean, but he really looks healthy. He looks very fit. So it feels great to know that I'm helping these people, and that's the kind of feedback I've been getting. And I guess the last part of it is sort of a common theme is I know what I should eat, but I just don't know when to eat it, or if I want to eat something that's, you know, not necessarily considered healthy, like when can I eat it, or can I do a whole day like that? So I think some of the other feedback is just having, like, thank you so much for putting a system together.
That's awesome. I love it. And it's exciting because I figured you were getting feedback like that just based off of the design of the course in the first place and the program overall. So, I mean, it's just very systematic, and it's really designed to set up your clients for the best results and for long-term results too, because if you're changing actual habits and you're going, you know, with their body type. So it's not, you're just, you know, it's not like a fad diet or something like that, or just get results now and this and that, and then they you know, revert back. It's something that they can learn and grow with and gain these habits going forward. So I think it's really cool what you're doing, Laura. So that being said, so next steps. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to connect and they want to learn more about your Ma8trix 8-week wellness program, I mean, what's the best way for them to follow up with you and your team?
You know, the easiest way is to send me an email. You can also go right to my website, so I'll give you both of those. My email address is very simple. It's Laura, Laura, at Ma8trix, Ma8trix.com. And that's also my Instagram handle. So it's Ma8trix, Ma8trix. And my website is also Ma8trix, so www.ma8trix.com. So any of those ways you can get a hold of me.
Fantastic. Well, Laura, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at your Ma8trix 8-week wellness program. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Fitness, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Laura, thanks again for coming on the show.
Yep, as always, thank you so much, Adam, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much.